All right, guys, welcome back to the TI4 SCA qualifiers here in the NA Hub. Of course, on High Ground TV. Once again, I am Mott. Joining me tonight is Kala Guy. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Getting right back into it. Small delays, but we're going underway. Hopefully, there's not too much of those as we continue the night on. But here we go, man. Another nice little C matchup. It's going to be Aero Gaming going against, once again, XCTN.
Yeah, and XCTN, they didn't really impress us in that first game. I've been told they're a lot stronger than that, obviously, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they draft this one. Aero Gaming just got off of a nice victory, I think, against it was RRQ, I believe. And DDZ, according to Fear, played a hell of an Invoker. So, Aero Gaming, they're one of the more solid teams. In fact, people pick Aero a lot in their top 3 when they're predicting the SA qualifiers. Yeah. XCTN maybe one of the up-and-coming teams, but we'll see how this turns out for both sides.
Yeah, and also they had said that earlier, just before this, in Aero Gaming's match. Did you just say they were going against RRQ?
They did before.
Yes, but they said that there was a fantastic Invoker play coming out from DDZ, and I'm even Fear said what he said, like best Invoker he's seen, or so that's intriguing enough.
High praise.
I hope we get to see that. So if that's the case, and obviously, XCTN hoping to shake off that previous, stomping, I guess you could say, if you will, against Scythe. But they're in for another pretty hard challenge. And as you said, Aero Gaming is should be right there, right with Scythe Gaming as far as potential skill in the C scene. So we'll see if XCTN can pull it together. They kind of went with a bit of a risky kind of a draft, doing the Leshrac kind of core, no real core actually altogether. So hopefully for them, Ninja Boogie could be the one to pull it out. And for Aero Gaming, they have I guess that would be their top guy, Johnny, who can try to get something going for them.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes as we are going to get right into the draft screen here. We're not going to wait any longer, guys. So we are going to check it out. We are underway. No picks just yet, obviously, but we'll get there sooner rather than later. So we are jumping in. And honestly, it really comes down to what XCTN want to do here, because they have the first pick. They can decide. There's a lot of strong heroes still available. We've seen Brewmaster picked up a lot. Obviously, Disruptor has been very solid. Mirana's a huge pick right now. Tree Predictor is very, very prominent in the American scene. I'm not sure how much they value it here in the SEA scene. Yeah. A lot of split pushing heroes sometimes coming out. You see a lot of Nature's Prophet, AA to a certain extent, but that's been banned out. So there's a lot of options here. This kind of opens things up a little bit. So
it's funny because this is the draft we saw in the NA scene like a week ago.
Yes.
We were expecting the big top 4. Get rid of the Naga and Ember. And then, obviously Batrider. And then if you let one slide through, like Invoker, one's going to snatch it up. Where we're seeing the NA, they just ignored all these heroes. With the exception of Batrider, of course, they always prominently banned out. But for the C players, they're kind of sticking true to that. And they're not, venturing out too much. And, when you leave the Invoker now, XCTN is going to grab it up for himself. So unfortunately, we won't get to see that DDZ Invoker, but instead we might get to see something else that he might bring to the table. Yeah. I'm eager to see what that might be. Now, with those bans coming out, you're leaving a few top tier pickups, and it's really funny because this was something I was going to go into. A first grab Doom. Now, normally a lot of people would be like, that's a bit weird, but if you look at the stats, Mont, and I know my stats. I'm doing the research. You're glancing over at my pad right now. I know. And look at this. Top picks as of 6.81 for Aero Gaming. And who is it right at the top, Mop? It's Doom. With 8 games in, they have a 7-1 record with Doom.
That's pretty impressive.
That's pretty good.
I mean, that hero's still very strong, but there's ways to deal with him. And we've seen it so often, like running an aggro tri lane, making him kind of out of his comfort zone, essentially, because he's not the best laner. I talk about it so often. So if you lane up against him and you try to shut him down, it's possible. He has this really good mid-game presence. He's not the most in terms of damage and right-click efficiency, but he's still very strong in terms of what he can bring to the table. A Doom against an Invoker, so solid. And they will go for that Treant Protector. So Aero Gaming, they'll copy out sort of that American, I guess pretty much all over the world kind of playbook with the Treant Protector. They'll have the Doom as well. Viper for XCTN right now. You don't generally want to Doom the Viper, but he's still a solid laning hero. The thing is they have the Invoker and Viper, so one of those heroes is going to have to go into the side lane, which I don't know how I feel about. Invoker certainly, I think, a little bit better in that side lane than Viper is.
It's nice to have, the flexibility in case, as the draft goes on, they can see what Aero Gaming might potentially pick up for their mid lane or for their safe lane, or if they want to decide once again to maybe go something a little more aggressive with an aggro try. Yeah. They have the flexibility to work with that, but they're kind of neglecting their supports now, the foundation, if you will, of a team, and that's something Aero Gaming love to grab up immediately, because they say that Aero Gaming is more of a team-oriented kind of a style play, so they like to play where they can really help each other out. Tree's one of those heroes that can do that. He's a very defensive kind of style, with the help of the overgrowth, obviously with living armor. It's very nice to have. They also like to pick up a Chen, so they like to play very defensively. They like to work together as a group and get things done, whereas we saw with Execration, they tend to, what it looks like, play a little more unorthodox and just kind of like be more of a wild card. So we'll see how these two kind of styles match up.
I am interested, because anytime you pick up a Viper right after Invoker in your second pick, you're kind of just like, well, that's a hero you didn't need to pick in the second ban, or first pick phase, rather, for Execration. Like, did you really need to go for the Viper right now? Was that really a bit, like, your best course of action here? You could have saved it till later. Might have gotten banned out in the second ban phase, but that rarely happens now. It's a Viper. It's not the strongest hero. Yeah. Yes, he will win his lane if he goes mid. There's not really a hero that goes up that well against him. Yes, he'll get an early mech. But the thing is, he doesn't provide a lot in team fights. In terms of Viper Strike, yes, that's nice. But at the same time, you're just like, okay, I guess we could go for this. But we'll see how it goes as well. Right now, the Viper pickup is going to come out for Execration. It was the last pickup. The bans, Nature's Prophet for Arrow, one more to go. And then on the other side, the OD and the Weaver to round it all out. So 33 seconds of reserve time for Arrow Game, and we'll see what they want to do next.
It's an interesting ban, OD. OD we don't get to see too often.
Against Viper, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I guess, it can kind of work out. I mean, right off the bat, the first thing I think of, if it is going to be a mid lane Viper, you still have something to work with in like a Razor, I guess you can kind of pick up or whatever, but you definitely don't want to be working with too much more melee. They already have a couple of it, but you don't want to risk being kited around too much by the Viper. And, especially anyone who's going to be very mana intensive in case this Invoker does go once again with some sort of like a Quas Wex kind of a build-up like we saw before. We didn't see the Invoker do too well last time. He just didn't bring that much to the table like you'd normally like to see out of an Invoker.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, this is also a team that does like to change up the roles a lot, so they might not even repeat the same person to play it. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who was the Invoker player.
The Invoker was Abang.
So Abang. So last time he played it, they could just as quickly shift it over to someone else. They could, maybe even have a Ninja booking order for all we know. We'll have to see how it goes. And I was talking about already how Arrow Gaming like to play more defensive, and Dazzle is probably the next best you can go for as far as supports. I mean, they're already looking at a very nice structure to kind of keep things very safe and slow at the start, and then as the game progresses, they can really begin to bully around Execration.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about the Invoker, man, and the Quas Wex just it felt like nothing to me that last game. It felt like the Quas Wex wasn't doing like hardly anything, and Quas Exort seems just so much stronger right now. Maybe that's just me, but like there was an interesting stat from K-Poptosis in one of the games we did today. It was like, if you looked at Invoker and what he was played in 6.81, it was like 75% Quas Exort, like 25% Quas Wex down. The numbers weren't exact there, but it might have been like closer to like 80-20. So that was like interesting to me. I feel like Invoker as Quas Wex just doesn't provide as much. I mean, there are maybe ways to build it, and maybe it works in this lineup because of EMP and what it provides, but Execration will pick up the Wraith King, and I don't know, it could be a core, it could be a support. There's a lot of options here for that. Arrow Gaming, they picked up the Dazzle before. I like both drafts. I just prefer Arrows right now because I don't like that early Viper pickup. That's the one thing that's kind of like, all right, I don't know about this draft here. So.
Yeah, Arrow definitely has a nice structure going for him right now, and it's looking pretty nice. It's nothing too greedy. It's nice and basic, and definitely need to look into building a little more late game. I mean, yeah, Dragon Knight can provide a bit, probably about the same as what Doom can as far as down the road, but we'll see where they decide to take it from there. And for Execration, I would probably lean towards this is going to be a Wraith King kind of more on the support side.
Yeah.
His Royal Highness, if you will, His Majesty. And at first when I thought of, and Wraith King was starting to be picked up as a support, it really caught me off guard, but as I see it more and more, it just seems to make sense. I mean, you got someone like Doom, typically, who likes to go utility and provide a lot for the team. Well, Wraith King has that built in already. I mean, you're providing a lot of leech to your team to work with, and obviously, if you kind of like to go just right into the fight and make something happen, if you happen to fall, you have a tremendous amount of slow to work with, and if you're able to bait out a lot of those skills and everything onto them, then the rest of your team can kind of round up and really get the team fight going in their favor. So I do like Wraith King a lot, and especially if he picks up something like a Blade Mail, he can try to get a lot of damage out there before he is taken down for the first time. So I like the Wraith King pickup, and then the nice thing to have with that is, let's say you are inheriting a lot of gold, you can always build into a core later.
Yes.
We got to see, especially in the NA games, a lot of the support Wraith Kings, I believe Way 2, he'll build from the Blade Mail into like a Mjolnir.
Yes.
It helps with wave clearing, which is something you typically want out of your supports. And it's very nice, and then you put that with already his heavy hitting hand, and wow, look at this. I bet Toby somewhere's creaming his pants. Drow Ranger is the fourth pickup.
This is interesting. The Drow Ranger pickup, I'm not sold on yet. Going back to the Wraith King also, another good thing to think about is that some people consider him to be the Doom counter. He doesn't really necessarily counter Doom, but like you're not going to Doom the Wraith King. It's just not. You're not going to use it there. You're not really going to focus him down. You're not going to try to kill him as quickly as possible, or keep him out of the fight, because reincarnation is going to work whether or not you're doomed or not. So, Drow Ranger is going to be the next choice for Execration, which is like. This is the second time we've seen this today. We haven't seen how it's worked out yet for NAR, but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, we have the silence, we have frost arrows, we have a lot of agility, we have tower pushing potential. They have decent right click in this game.
What do you think it is? Why is there such a stigma against Drow Ranger being a, like an iffy kind of a carry?
I mean, a lot of the hate she gets is because she's very gankable. Early on, she doesn't provide much. Yes, frost arrows are good, but there's
no way to escape.
If you throw a tri-lane against her, it's going to be rough. The good thing is, however, that they have a Doom. So now Drow Ranger can kind of farm and generally be okay. They'll probably rotate a hero or two down there to just make her life kind of miserable. They can try to go aggro try with the Doom, which is like questionable. It's not very solid. Yes, Dazzle and Treant can harass the heck out of her, but she's probably going to be okay. Unless they want to pick up a hero here, like a Centaur, which is still available. If they go for a Centaur, they can do a Treant Dazzle like Centaur Tri-Lane. They could throw up the Poison Touch or Leech Seed and then go into a Stomp. And she probably will be ganked. I think it should probably go down from that. But the thing is, they'll have to run the Dazzle and the Treant Protector a lot because they'll need experience. They'll need to get Centaur experience as well. Especially in an aggro Tri-Lane on the dire side, which is very difficult to do. There's no pull. They're going to go for the Razor instead, which is probably going to be your Tri-Lane hero or one of your safe lane. Well, actually, I don't know. Razor or Doom could be in a safe lane role. Or like a solo role rather, and I don't know which I prefer.
You can also put Razor in the mid lane in case it is going to go against the Viper.
Yeah.
I mentioned it briefly. I kind of like Razor going against Viper. Some people might feel differently, but I think it's there. And I believe it was Cinderin earlier today. That's a nice thing about being here in the BTS house is that we have all these great casters and pro players to bounce ideas off, and we get to like use it when we move on to these casts. But he felt that Razor's one of the more underrated heroes. He has a lot of utility still to bring to the table, especially in the proper lineup, and I think it could work pretty nicely here. So we'll see if that's going to be the case for Arrow Gaming. I think they feel pretty confident for Execration. They need to get a secondary support. First thing that pops up to my mind would probably be maybe a Rubik. It'd be nice if you can grab that Doom, maybe even Overgrowth, anything Dazzle has to have. Dragon Form, Stun, whatever. And I don't get to see it too much, so
I like that because Rubik's that 5 support that they need. You talked about how like Way 2 turns that support into that farming carry eventually later. That makes more sense. They like this Flesh Strike though, man. I'll give it to them.
But it's someone else. It's not going to be Ninja Boogie. Well, so we talked about shifting roles.
Yes.
They're going to do it again.
Well, no, because Ninja Boogie played it in the carry role last time.
Yeah.
He was the farming role. Fox was the support as well. He played that Sand King. So, the thing is, though, you're right. Fox was the Sand King last time. That's the 4 role. And BGO1 was more of the hard support. So they might actually give more priority to Execration's Fox here, but I'm not really 100% sure.
They better put Leshrac and I would imagine the Wraith King kind of closer together, because the one thing when you go with the Leshrac is that stun is a bitch to land.
It is.
They need something to help him out with that. And that's why typically you see someone like the Shadow Demon. It makes it very easy for to land that very delayed stun. And we'll see if it ends up working. I'm a little wishy-washy about how they're going to end up laning this one up. As far as draft goes, Mott, what do you think? What are your predictions so far? We got all 5 for both teams laid out. Any favorites?
I'm not sure. I feel like if this is an aggro tri-lane from Arrow, they definitely win. I just think there's too much damage for them. But the aggro tri-lane with the Razor is questionable sometimes. Doom probably is going to do best with safe lane farm. And for Execration, they just have a very, greedy draft. Like Viper, Invoker, Drow Ranger, that requires a lot of levels in farm. And even a Wraith King's not that great until he gets maybe an item, like an armlet or a blade mail or something like that. So the Leshrac is going to be probably the one that wards, or is considered the ward bitch, I guess, if you want to throw caution aside. But, I don't know. I do prefer Arrow's lineup, so that's at least my take on it.
So with that said, why don't we go ahead and just roll through with some introductions, if you don't mind mine. I'll go ahead and start things off, actually, and I will go ahead and roll through with the dire side to start things off.
Okay.
I'll go with Arrow, and I'm going to head up right up at the top right here. And as you can see, running side by side, we're going to start off. We got Johnny, who's supposed to be the captain, one of the more star, the centerpiece, if you will, of this team when he was brought in. And he's going to be playing your support tree, and he's going to be accompanied here with Doom, played by Mr. Lance. On your mid lane, this is supposed to be the very proficient in what was highly touted by Fear, DDZ playing your Dragon Knight. And then along the bottom, we got that Razor. He's going to be played by Zhang Zai. And then also lingering around planning some wards, we got Dazzle played by Mozun. And that's it.
Yeah, that'll be Arrow Gaming's lineup for Execration, the squad that we've already witnessed once here on the high ground stream. We've got down in this bottom lane, BGO1 on that support Wraith King. Joining him will be Ninja Boogie, the farming Drow Ranger in this bottom lane. And to round it all out in this lane, it'll be Fox and the Leshrac heading mid. You're going to see Abang. He'll be on the Invoker, going for Quas early on, no surprise there. And to round it all out, it's going to be Uwe or EWE on that offlane Viper, which is... this is actually, I think Arrow know that he's not going to be there. I think they realize that, and they can maybe shut him down. This Viper might not get much done in this offlane. Offlane Viper is interesting. He's tanky. I mean, if you get maybe like a Basilius or an Aquila, maybe even a Stout or Poor Man's Shield, you might be okay. You don't generally get that on a Viper, but an early mech as well would be super useful. The problem here being that he can get ganked. Yes, he's got nice range, but it'll be, I think, difficult. He has no ward here, man. Like, 0 wards in this jungle either.
Yeah, he's got to be very, very careful. Mid lane, we already missed it right there, but it was a very bad block coming out for the Invoker, and it was definitely heavily in favor of the DK. He got it right in his favor, but now it's shoved all the way back on his side, so hopefully he can kind of bring it together. I can't help but feel like he might be outmatched, but bam, top line, immediate first blood, and wow, that was quick, man. You called it. Viper's going to have a hard time, especially without the proper vision.
I just don't know why they didn't ward here. You do that in almost every offlane. If you look at where they warded on the rune spots. Yeah, that's fine for one ward, but like, you don't need both covering both the rune spots. You don't need that kind of coverage. I feel like having a ward for your offlaner is huge, especially somebody as, I mean, susceptible to a gank as a Viper. He has no escape mechanism. He's tanky, but he's not the most tanky hero in the world, especially because he's a magic hero. His strength is not really there. He's got decent armor at level 1, but it just is questionable to me. They'll counter the ward down bottom. Actually, they just threw up a sentry. They don't even need to counter anything because guess what? Again, they don't have that ward there. Well, I mean, actually, hold on a second. Observer ward. Where was that? Never mind. The Radiant Observer ward didn't get countered in the top lane. There was one. I'm not sure where the other one is. Did they give it to the Viper, in fact?
There's one in the lane. Are you talking for the
Radiant team?
Yeah, there's one in the lane right here on the bottom lane.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like right in the middle lane. They're trying to be very aggressive to see when this Razor's trying to think about lingering in, but Zhang is playing very, very safe with this Razor. He runs in, throws out the nuke to get some CS, and pulls back. He knows that there's supports missing, so he has to play cautiously. But look at these supports. They're looking to make a rotation towards the mid lane. They know their Invoker might be struggling just a little bit here. It might be a rough time for him, so maybe they can look to make something happen with a proper Invis rune. It looks like Leshrac tries to make something happen here.
Yeah, Fox, he's got that Split Earth. It's level 1, obviously. It's going to be on him to get this Split Earth and I guess this stun lock going off here on DDZ. He's running around, essentially. He's making sure that he's not getting hit up with the stun. They know that he's missing from bottom. Tornado's going to fly through. It looks like it was just not enough range there as it's only level 1, so it's pretty much nothing. Now DDZ definitely knows something is up here. He's going to stay pretty far back. The Leshrac's are going to rotate up. They're going to go top. They maybe can go through this aggressive tri-lane. There's a ward here coming out for the Dire team, so they'll see that rotation potentially coming out for BGO1. Viper has not died again, which is okay. He's at 6 CS, which is not bad. The Razor's only sitting at 3. Now he's in a solo lane, however, and he can actually start leeching some damage from this Drow Ranger with that static link. But going around the side, Fox and BGO1 making a look for a dive here. I don't think that it's going to happen, but
I hope we don't see this happen again. Last game we saw them try to do a lot of these rotations, but they really didn't get anything done, and they love their smokes, man. They were throwing them out like it was nothing, like it was a 420 blaze. They're throwing out one right now, and they can't really commit on anything, and it looks like they might try to make a go on the mid once more, but DK is no pushover. He's got that Dragon's Blood, he's got the extra armor. It's going to take a lot of effort, and both of these stuns need to lock, and they both need to just do all they can. Breath of Fire, but he's going to look to probably just Bottle Crow in the meantime. Kind of that Korok style DK.
Yeah. I mean, like, on the DK, you pretty much have to. You're not going to get root control. The supports will generally do that for you. The Invoker's not going to go for it either, generally. He might try to pick one up. He's got Wex, so he's got increased move speed, and he has his Boots of Speed already, so not a big deal there. The rotations that you mentioned from Execration, they're just roaming around. They're not accomplishing anything. Like, they want to get experience, and they're just, even like, oh, down bottom, looks like, oof, I thought maybe someone was taking a lot of damage, but that was actually top on Lance on that Doom, but he's fine. He'll salve up and be okay. But as I was saying, like, even the supports here in this top lane, they're pulling, they're leeching experience from the lane. They're both level 3 already. There's still somebody who's level 1. That's the Wraith King. I'm not sure how. Yeah, they're both level 1 right now. What are you
running around?
What are you doing?
Around.
Exactly?
Now they're babysitting the rune, which is nice for your mid, but the mid's not making the rotation. It's gonna be Wraith King, and now they're like, God damn it, I gotta get something done. His Royal Highness, His Majesty, making the long run in, and
yeah, but look at where DDZ's position. He saw that
near
the entire way. Now Johnny body blocking Uwe in that top lane. Leech Seed might come out. Are they gonna get there in time? No, he's not going to dive this. Now he's gonna get turned on here. Take a bit of right click damage. Don't go too far in, Mr. Viper. This is a bad time for you. You don't want to be in this position. Yes, you've got that poison attack. You've got the Nether Toxin, but that is dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should do that.
You're not going to get anything done by yourself. You got Living Armor and you got Shallow Grave and
Yeah,
Heal.
yeah.
I mean, you're going to need your full team there happening, and he does have a little bit extra support coming through. It is going to be what looks like a potential try versus try from here on out, but already they got to feel at a little bit of a disadvantage. Not only was Viper taken down, but these supports are just not doing anything still. Level 1. I mean, Wraith King now finally pops level 2, but they're down a little bit right here. They need to try to get something going in their favor.
Yeah, they do. And a kill on the Doom would be huge. Poison attack's going to come through. BGO1 looking for the Wraith Fire Blast. Not going to hit. Johnny's sitting in the backside, not sure what he should do. Should they turn on this? Should they not go? Again, it's a Doom. They only have the Dark Troll Summoner and Snare, which is okay. Not the most in right clicks. He's got Scorched Earth, but they have plenty of damage from the Dazzle and from the Treant alone. So it depends on what they want to accomplish here. The Poison Touch is going to go on Uwe right now. Leshrek's stun, going to fly. It looks like he gets canceled instead. Decides to not go for it, but now they're putting pressure here on this top lane, and I like this. Make this Doom uncomfortable. Make it so he can't farm the lane, send him to the jungle perhaps, and make him go from there, and see what comes of it.
I mean, if only they had set this up at the start, it would have gone a lot better for him.
Yeah.
But for now, it's working out for him. For now, they also are under the tower. Doom's fine the last hits, but aside from when they're away from the tower, whenever Doom tries to make a go, and Viper is going to make things very, very difficult. But once again, supports, they're tired of being top. They want to rotate again. Leshrek now sets to the bottom lane once more. Now they're feeling like maybe Zhao feels, or Zhang rather, sorry, feels a little more confident. And maybe if Leshrek can make a turnaround, they can catch him off. He's coming around the back door right here. If he can land this stun, but already he's making it go on Ninja Boogie with the static link. There goes a bit of a slow in the Lightning Storm, and now they're getting the second rotation out. But he's got a lot of damage to work with here if he decides to turn. But there's a Tornado. Actually, Invoker committing this one. There's a split up. It lands, and they finally do get what they want. They finally take down Zhang, and it's a bit of a small victory for him, and they even things up. And wow.
Johnny will take down that Wraith King as DDZ pops the Elder Dragon form, the right click, the Breathe Fire, and of course the Dragon Tail combining up to get that kill. So a 1-for-1 trade across the map, it looks like. And yeah, Razor did go down. Really a nice rotation coming out from Abang. They're going to try to go for this tower. It's the level 1 Edict, so the damage isn't quite there. But Drow Ranger, she's level 7. She's got now that marksmanship. She's got Precision Armor, which she popped up as well to get that extra range damage coming through. And they're doing okay here. They're going to try to take this tower. Phase Boots and the Drow Ranger probably going to go for maybe like a Mom. We see that so often. There are a lot of heroes top. They're going to try to make a trade happen in this top lane. DDZ's Elder Dragon form still going, but only for a bit longer here. Nice pull of the creep play from Uwe. Just making sure that he makes sure that of course they're tanking the towers. There's no creep wave damage coming out. They make sure that they kind of have to leave if they take too many tower hits here.
Yeah, they don't want to waste too much time, and with that said, EZ will make his rotation back to the mid lane where he will continue to farm up. We don't get to see too often that the DKs rotate around, but I feel like as they saw the gank coming in the bottom lane, they decided to pull the trigger on making something happen on the top. They traded and took down the Wraith King. This, the trade-off definitely works in favor of Execration as they did get the Razor down instead, but still, I think things are still looking pretty solid right now for Aero Gaming in the early. Supports, again, rotating out. You got Leshrek lingering around the woods right here in the mid lane. Maybe they can catch out this DK looking to push forward, but, as the story goes, we'll see how it can work out. Ninja Boogie not doing too bad as far as CS. Same goes for the Invoker, actually. They're actually, getting the CS they want and not doing too shabby.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Invoker's sitting at 48 last hits. That's pretty solid. Abang had a rough start last game.
Yeah.
I mean, he got okay farm, I think, but they just had it. At this point in the game last time around against Scythe were kind of just dictating play. And it was just kind of like Abang had to react to that play.
Yeah.
So instead of like getting CS in lane and getting levels and going from there, he had to react to all of the pressure that they were getting put on. So now instead they're going to start putting pressure on towers of their own. Yes, they kind of try to push in tier 1 towers. They got a couple of those early on in the game, but now it's, again, their time to shine. They're going to rotate 4 heroes up. They like to have this 4-man aggression early on here. They're going to try to go for this tier 1 tower and sacrifice a bit of farm for it. Uwe, though, he doesn't need much. A mech would be nice. He's got to go for treads first instead of going for just straight up boots into that mech. BGO1 is level 3 still. Fox is level 4, so there's got to be a bit of an experience discrepancy here. I mean, yeah, not too bad because level 4 Treant Protector, but everything else is pretty solid coming out from Arrow.
That was good timing for Execration. I mean, I don't know if they had saw... they're actually making it go. There's a Viper Strike on Doom, but they immediately pull back here. Leshrek is pinged out, and he will also fall, and a bit of a miscommitment, but there goes the net. They catch out the Leshrek. Big damage. That heal. Oh, my God. Rips him apart. There's a few more poison attacks, and they will have to retreat, but they do manage to take down one. Now Arrow pulling ahead 3-1, but before I went into that, they did capitalize on taking out the tower, only because Doom did grab up that Midas, and then he ventured off in the jungle, and they knew that the defenses were not there.
Yeah, and honestly, no one was expecting that type of damage.
Meanwhile, as you can see, top lane, the tree, finding a little bit of farm for himself, will look to step off. He actually has a medallion, so, you know, why not? Maybe if they decide to take advantage of being on that dire side and maybe kind of linger into that Roche pit, they might be able to get a quick Aegis.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. It seems like right now, just, I don't know what Execration are doing. They're trying to rotate again. Yes, they're at least giving farm to the... And I guess Draw Ranger did get that tower down bottom, and she's got her Mask of Madness now. So that's at least pretty solid. And if you look at it too, I mean, if we look at the graphs real quick, I haven't really checked them out too much. Like, there's actually a 2,000 gold lead for Execration here, which is pretty solid. And
yeah,
only 1,000 experience, which isn't bad either. So they're going to try to keep making these rotations. It feels like Arrow maybe are getting caught off guard here, but they still have pretty decent late game. They've got a Doom, they've got a DK, they've got a Razor, all of which are getting okay farm right now if we look at the CS. Not too bad. The Razor 31 last hits, needs to get up there a bit more, but BGO1 with huge rotation into the jungle. They have a nice ward here as well, and they want to keep the pressure on for Execration.
Yeah, just like last game, you know, they have the power of the Lesh, and you might as well take advantage of that. I mean, even with just level 2 Edict, it's enough to quickly melt down these towers. And it looks like the next one on the list might be potentially mid here, as they're already committing 3 forward. And, you know, you don't want this... DK can't get too close to the fray. You know, he will get stunned out, but he has other plans. Right now they're smoked up, and they're making the venture all the way down to the bottom. Ninja Boogie looks like he's pulling back. There's the pings, the X's to come out. Are they going to commit on making a fight right here? Oh, Ninja Boogie pushing a little too far forward. There's the Dragon Tail, very long range stun. Lands. Oh, God. Big damage. Nothing you can do. We were talking about the Drow, and that's the problem right there. But here he goes. Immediately stun out. Does catch. No more mana. That happens for the Dragon Knight, but he doesn't need it. And it looks like Wraith King will pull back. But regardless, they do lose their precious, precious core in the Drow. But all the meanwhile, mid lane, Leshrac does catch out that mid-tier 1 tower.
Top lane. Looks like Uwe might fall here to the right clicks of the Doom, as well as Mozen rotating up and using that Shadow Wave, which is, by the way, maxed out. They have a medallion, that's what I wanted to talk about a bit. They used that medallion to get that kill very quickly on, I think it was the Leshrac in that top lane engagement not too long ago, which was disgusting. They'll lose 2 heroes very quickly. They'll lose the tier 1 tower mid, which is a problem. So they're getting kills, but they're not getting towers. They're not being super efficient. They're not getting as much farm as this Invoker's getting. The Drow's getting decent farm as well. So Execration are starting to turn it around. And I was kind of complaining about their play a little bit early on, but they've seemed to have solidified and actually done decently here in the past couple of minutes. The thing is, Doom has a Midas now, so that's going to be online. Drow Ranger, though, with the Mask Madness could farm pretty efficiently and obviously push down towers and be pretty okay in terms of getting ganked and trying to run away. So it really comes down to how aggressive Arrow come, you know, in these next few minutes. So
yeah. Have you seen this set on Doom? This is fabulous right here. This is a very decorated Doom. It's got these crazy set of horns. This huge ass axe. It's just tremendous right now. He looks extremely powerful.
Free-to-play set, I think.
Very, very nice. Maybe well, I wouldn't be surprised. He's looking to beat a hardcore for his team, the true damage dealer. I guess something like we would see maybe Envy kind of play in a Doom. But he's finding the farm with the help of that Midas. He's just rummaging all through the jungle. It looks like he's going to build up that drums next. You know, a little bit of extra survivability, a little extra mobility. You put that together with the Scorched Earth, and things are looking pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, you get the Doom in the jungle with the Midas and Devour, and you're not going to come out for like another 10-15 minutes, and by the time he does, he's going to have like a Vlad and like a freaking drum and like another item. You're like, what? Where did all that come from? Why do you have that much farm? So they're kind of hoping that Lance is going to be that mid-game hero that they're looking for to be aggressive with, maybe even go for a mech if somebody else is not going for it, which... If we look, it is the Razor who fits that role of the mech comfortably. Like, mech on Razor is so very strong, keeps you alive. You've got plenty of mana to use that, obviously, and the regeneration is nice as well. The attributes, what have you, everything's good.
And you don't need to build too much damage too early because you already have the benefit of that static link, of course. Instead, you want to build into survivability. You want to be able to withstand being in those fights so you can get more and more damage. And look at this heavy smoke coming out.
Are they going Roche?
Maybe.
Are they trying to sneak Roche with Radiant?
That's very quick and very early. I don't think Arrow are even going to see this. Yeah, Arrow will not know this is happening right now. This is very nice.
The thing is, they're going to be all off the map, and they're going to go for a tier 1 tower, and they're not going to defend it. So if you're Arrow right now, you're like, where the hell are they? So they need to get this done quickly, and for Execration, they are.
Yeah,
they've got Mask of Madness on a Draw Ranger. They've got Edict. They've got Splitter. They've got decent amount of damage from Viper as well. This Roche is dead. They can even go back and try to defend if they want to. You can, like, look at Arrow, and they're like, oh, crap. I can't believe we just let that happen. Okay, we better take this tower if we can get out of here.
I mean, it's a shame not more of them had, both the Viper and just the Viper, no TP, so maybe that's more than that. But they're coming in from the north. They throw out the TP, the EMP to follow, but they quickly spread and will avoid the majority of it. But oh no! Drow walks right into his stun, eats a breath of fire. Very, very weak. Drow will fall. There goes the Overgrowth that's holding everyone in place, and now they have to retreat out. They have the Aegis, but they're going to waste it immediately, it looks like. Viper gets taken down a well, 3 down all day, but wow. Unreal.
They were not expecting that. They were like, all right, we got the advantage now. We just took Roche. We're going to run right in there. Our Drow Ranger's going to go first. Who cares what happens? It'll be fine. She's got an Aegis. Even if she gets focused, it's okay. And then they're just like, okay, let's turn on Eldritch Dragon Form. Let's Overgrowth. Let's Doom. And we're just going to win the fight now.
I mean, you have a Drow Ranger, for God's sake. She's barely pushing 900 life, and you got a Mask of Madness. If you run in there and pop the mask, you're going to be a little piece of shit.
She's like, I got this, guys.
No, you don't. she got destroyed.
No, she did not have it, clearly, but she didn't know that at the time. And
she's feeling really confident, I guess.
Yeah, I know, a little ballsy for a nice young, I guess, Drow Ranger here. So, not really the best decision. I guess it was bold, but not the best. So,
wow.
Next done.
This Doom. I mean, after that fight, and oh god, he's running right into trouble here. There's the EMP, there's a nice tornado, and they block it with a stun and a cold snap. This Doom can't get anywhere right now.
Ooh,
Trying to make a run, and he runs into Dazzle. Dazzle should have Grave available if they need it, and he's holding it in the meantime, and with the help of Scorched Earth, he will be able to retreat. So very nice. By this point, with the help of that drums, he can take a licking and keep on kicking. But what I was about to talk about is, with the help of that Midas and everything, he already nearly has 2k gold. This man's getting rich quick.
Yeah, I mean, and his next item is going to be interesting to see. Like, what does he go for here? Does he go for auras? Does he go for a bit more hard carry? Does he go for, I mean, you're not going to go for mech because guess what? You already have it. So that frees up one item slot for you. That's what Dooms generally kind of go for from time to time. I don't think you're going to get a Vlad's early on here. You already have a drum. You don't really need a Vlad's early. And Vlad's later is a bit better, I think. You don't need to go for that Vlad's kind of rush. I prefer to see something along the lines of, I don't know. He's saving up a lot of money, man. He could be going for a Radiance, too. That's the thing. He's got a lot of options here. Lothars we see from time to time, but, like, that build is kind of obsolete. Even though with the buff in the last patch, it still might be viable.
I wouldn't mind the utility build, because then you're adding a little extra survivability as well to the Razor, who he might end up being your true damage deal. But wow, and Ags?
Yes.
Ags Doom in a competitive Dota game. I haven't seen this too much. He's feeling pretty confident. I guess with the extra move speed of the drums, you can kind of just be in the fray longer. And does it have to be an Ags?
I mean, unless he's going like Scotty, which I don't see happening. So I'm pretty sure, or a Bloodstone. So yeah, I mean, it's 99% an Ags.
What do you think? Do you think that's just like something they were planning? Maybe they're feeling a little overconfident in this game.
I don't know. I mean, it's not an awful item. I don't think it's super bad or anything. I just think that it doesn't really fit. Like, it works in certain games, and I guess it does against an Invoker and a Viper who could kind of kite you a bit. Even a Drow who could kite you with using, of course, the Frost Arrows and the Silence. So I'm not sure exactly. I think there's other options here. He could have gone for a Radiance, which would have been, I think, really nice, but I don't know if that's really the best option. He could have gone for an AC, which would have been really strong, and a Silk Cuirass to give him. I mean, the DK probably will build one anyways, but he's getting a BKB first, and why not go for an Assault Cuirass early on here to try to take down towers and get some extra right click for the rest of your team.
This is going to be a smoking, I would imagine. Why are they all... No,
maybe not. They're just sitting around.
Yeah, I guess they're
well, I think they didn't see anybody on the map. They're just like, all right, let's
wait it out and see what's coming our way. Instead, Doom pushing him forward, maybe a small bait in the meantime, but now they're going to join the fray. We do still have a relatively low tier 1 tower in this mid lane, and they could quickly grab it up if they want.
They're very passive right now. Very, very passive.
They're playing cautiously and safe.
I mean, they just went through an Aegis. They just went through 3 heroes on top of that Aegis, and they absolutely dominated that fight. They're not ahead, no, but they have decent farm. I don't know if they need to play this cautiously. This Drow Ranger is only going to get more frightening. Yes, she's not going to be the hardest right clicker or the best carry, like the latest game carry in the world, but she's still very solid compared to what you have for arrows. So I feel like you have this early game lineup with the Doom. You've got Dragonite, you've got Overgrowth, you've got Shadowgrave, you've got everything up and ready to go. You've got a mech now too. It's time for you to start taking towers. They can maybe wait for the next Roshan, but even that might be a little bit unnecessary. So
whatever they decide to do, and as I said in the draft, this is a team. They're going to do it as a team. It's very team oriented. Maybe like Johnny's right there in the middle of them, deciding what the right call is to make. So it might seem a little oddball that they're kind of lingering all together, but whatever they decide to do, they want to make sure they commit to it together. They don't want to be handing out too many unnecessary kills. If it's kind of prolonging things a bit, it doesn't matter to them. They're finding the farm they need. Now you got DK picking up that extra survivability, picking up that BKB. This makes makes things very, very rough. They're going to see that they're going to be scouted out by this Leshreck, but they're not too worried right now. I think they're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, they should be feeling pretty good. I think they have a decent chance at this game right now. I do want to point out, though, that the Invoker, and he picked this up a while ago, he's got an Orchid Malevolence, which you see more and more often on Quaswex Invokers. Orchid's very solid. Making sure that Doom can't get his Doom off would be nice. Making sure DDZ can't Elder Dragon form. Making sure the Razor can't really use his abilities. And I think most of all, the supports. Silencing them and making sure they're out of the fight quickly. Because those are some high-impact supports. The Dazzle, who can save your life. It's Treant, who can Overgrowth and obviously Leech Seed and do all of the stuff he does. Ags is completed, though, for this Doom. He finishes it up at 20 minutes with the Midas, and, of course, with the Devour. His GPM's 511, but
they're
top
making it
lane,
go on the
they're
top
going to
lane.
go. TP's got to be in. DDZ, he pops the BKB, forced to use it. It looks like Abeng used that Cold Snap. He wanted to try to get a pick off here, but forcing that BKB just as good. And the Elder Dragon form now down for about 100 seconds for Arrow.
That was nice. I thought they were going to overcommit there, but the second he popped that BKB and the second they saw the rotations, they're like, you know what, we got to go. And they get out right away, and they force Air to waste all that stuff. So I guess it's a pretty nice mini victory for them. And now they're going to make the rotation all the way back to the mid. They want to be able to take advantage of this Dragon form while they have it.
Yeah.
And now they're going to commit to pushing down the mid, clearing out this tier 1. And this might be a bad idea if Execration want to commit to a fight. Maybe if they can wait out this Dragon form, it'd be a right time to go because now he doesn't have BKB to work with here. We'll see if it's going to be the right call to make.
Yeah, Arrow might just back off because they know they don't have that BKB. They know Elder Dragon form's about to go down in a couple seconds. They'll see what tower damage they can do. They might force it. Wraithfire Blast is going to go with the Tornado. The EMP landing, maybe. Zhang Ji running in as well as Lance looking for that static link. Lance getting caught out. Doom not going. Looks like it already did go now, but Uwe maybe in trouble. BG01 getting caught out. The stun up on Zhang Ji getting brought down. 2 dead. That's an overcommitment if I've ever seen one, but they were forced into it, and that will be Ninja Boogie getting a double kill. They will get the kill on the Invoker, that's great, but also shout out to myself for receiving an item. That's
Did
nice.
you really just get an item on
I did most certainly get an item.
Wow, congratulations,
Thank
my
you.
friend. Very nice. But, yeah, I mean, that was very, very finicky from Arrow right there. I think they just felt a little too greedy. They really wanted to try to get that tier 1, and I think Execration made the right call to make the jump on him. And Invoker did a great job doing a good crowd control. Now, he did have to sacrifice himself. Unfortunately, he was the victim of the Doom, and he kind of just sat on the side and just kind of succumbed to it. But, I mean, in the end, they get 2 kills. Ninja Boogie gets a lot of extra gold, and now they even get a tier 2. Very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a solid turnaround, and those are kills they needed because they only have 4 kills in this game. It's been very solid play, I think, for BG01 and the rest of the Execration here, but again, I think they were still a bit underleveled right now, and those kills help out a lot, getting them up to level 8, which is the same as supports for Arrow right now, which is exactly what they needed. BG01, he's going to be going for a drum of his own, which means that it's an item that will actually provide him at least right-clicking, a bit of movement speed, in order for his team to, at least kind of be okay with. I mean, instead of just wards and kind of a stick and boots, I mean, he's right now a walking stun and a reincarnation. That's pretty much what he is.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we were talking about it also as well, when Way2 likes to pick up the kind of support Wraith King, he'll look to build into maybe an item immediately right after, whether it's the Blade Mail, what have you. But in this case, it's going to be the Leshreck. He's looking to go forward into the Force Staff, and instead it will leave the Wraith King to be more of that, ward whore, per se.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good transition for sure. The Drow Ranger's getting a BKB. She actually just, she's flying it out to her right now, so Ninja Boogie will purchase that up, and that's going to be a huge item. Won't be getting focused down too much by, let's say, actually most of these attacks are physical, other than like Dragon Tail and Wraithfire are really important to be able to avoid. Plasma Field, anything besides, well, I mean, Doom obviously is going to silence you, but Doom's not going to do that damage, obviously, so. And obviously, if you have a decently tapped Overgrowth from Johnny, it's not going to matter. It goes through that match community anyways, so you can BKB out of it, but we'll see how reluctant he is to pop that BKB. Arrow will smoke Yank. They're not going to find anybody because guess what? Execration, they're all top, man. They're looking to go for maybe a tier 2 tower in this top lane.
I'm really liking how things are starting to work out here for Execration, and we saw a bit of glimpse of it there in the mid lane earlier. I mean, if they can get some good crowd control going, the Razor's not going to find the opportunity to get all that extra damage, and the big heavy hitter in this one is going to be Ninja Boogie.
Yeah.
I mean, Drow doesn't have too much damage items just yet. Phase Boots and Yasha's alone it's putting her at about, 270 damage. That's very, very nice. You add a Mask of Madness on top of that, and she's going to be getting out lots and lots of damage. And if she finds a proper position, similar to like how a sniper would, you won't even know it's coming. And next thing you know, the rest of your team is melting. And now, using that extra damage power, they're going to look to assert a little bit of a enforcement on this top tier 2 tower, and look at it go.
It's fallen, man, and it's probably going to go down, but they're going to try to defend here. Uwe getting doomed up, nice Force Staff away. Tornado, EMP, they pop the drum charge, Ghost Walk goes through. I don't know if they can catch up to any of these heroes, even with Scorched Earth. Nice slow coming down from Abeng. Now Ninja Boogie's got to turn around, pop the BKB, but there's the overgrowth coming through from Johnny. Nice Nature's Guys, DDZ. He blinked in, looking to try to pick off Fox. He will grab the kill. They'll try to focus their attention to somebody. Maybe a Ninja Boogie. They're going to turn tail and look for BG01, but he's going to get out of there. TP away coming out from the Drow Ranger. Now blink forward, Dragon Tail. That's reincarnation. No, he doesn't have it. It's on cooldown. 2 are dead. A good defense, but they did lose the tower in the end anyways.
So a tower for 2 supports. BKBs were used by both teams.
Yeah.
It's hard to say who really comes out on top. It's nice to have that tower because now, typically I'd say these supports should look to play some very aggressive wards. They already have a couple of down right now, so they do get to control a little more of the map. But just right back at them, it looks like Arrow want to get a tower of their own. Maybe they continue pushing forward and maybe they can get 2, but for now, it's going to be an easy Tier 1 tower.
They need the Elder Dragon form up again before they can go for that Tier 2 tower, but Tornado EMP is going to push them back. Well, that's TP actually canceled coming out as DDZ got caught out of position, but they will TP back home and try to farm that. DDZ is going to have to walk. Unfortunately, he'll blink forward to make it a bit easier. Viper's trying to chase down after Mausen, but unfortunately, he's got no way to really stop them from TPing out. He is very, very close to that Aghanim Scepter, which is a very, very large item for a Viper to have. So, I mean, that 12-second cooldown, the amount of damage you get from it is pretty disgusting. So they've got a lot to work with here in these team fights, and it honestly feels like Execration are just performing a bit better. The team fights might start going Arrow's way with all of the abilities they have, but I still think that Execration are in a very solid position here.
I mean, I could be missing something. To me, it looks like a little bit more of a coin flip for both sides. I mean, it might be just whoever gets the better jump onto these fights. I mean, if you get off now a couple of these Viper strikes, it's not going to allow Razor to really get into the proper positioning. He wants to get as much damage as possible, and for Doom as well, he'll be kited around too much. He'll be able to throw out his Doom, but you know, who else will be? Who knows what else he'll be able to offer besides that? And he is going to look to build. He's got the plate mail now. I would imagine this might be the AC for him because
or Shiva's even also would be just fine.
That'd be great. You know, the extra survivability for himself, for his allies, reducing the extra attack speed coming out from the Drow would be nice as well. So those are definitely 2 very valuable options.
Oh, BG01 with an Invis rune. He's a little bold here. There's the Sentry Ward. They haven't spotted him. It looks like he's just on the corner of it. He might have gotten caught out of position there, but they'll back off instead. Arrow not looking to try to take a fight. Roshan is up, though. And last time we saw Execration really wanted that. They wanted to go ahead and just jump in as quickly as possible with that Smoke of Deceit gank and go from there, but not necessarily the case this time around. The Blink Dagger now done for the Doom, so that's just a casual plate mail for now, but a Blink will help them initiate with Centaur Stomp, which they have. Blink Dagger is so very common. It's going to fly out to him, and they will go for kill. They're going to try to find an engagement. Both teams smoked up, looking to clash. Johnny's going to get spotted out first. Uwe looking to jump in. Viper Strike, long range. Blink, Doom in on Uwe. Now the Wraith Fire Blast. BKB, Abon getting focused down. Oh, look at the level of depth. Just blowing him up. BG01 getting caught out. But guess what? The BKB for Ninja Boogie, not doing much. The static link going through it, but she's fast. Blink forward coming out from the Dragonite. He wants the Blink Dragon Tail stun to come out. He just hits it on that range there. Ninja Boogie getting blown up using that Breathe Fire. They're chasing after the Wraith King, but he will TP away just in time. A 2 for O trade. Now, go Roshiro. You've earned it. You've got yourselves a victory in that team fight.
Very unfortunate there for Execration. I feel like they thought that the tree might have been alone or something. They were trying to make a jump on him. He immediately threw out the Viper Strike on the tree, and then once everyone started coming in, I bet he wished he still had that Viper Strike to use on someone else, and unfortunately he quickly ate the Doom and had nothing else to offer. He did survive, but you know, you have nothing else you can use. Your mech is not going to be a contribute to help anyone else. And once they realized that Ninja Boogie was trying to get a lot of damage out, they just kind of went right for her. And with the help of those blinks, they caught up to her and quickly took her power. And now they're going to reap in the benefits and the rewards by taking down this Roche.
This Roche was faster, though, for Execration like 10 minutes ago, though. They're going to Tornado up. They're going to EMP right on top of Mozen as well, but they're still going to pick this up. There's no way they can really fight this without the Drow Rangers. So Zhang Ji is going to be picking up that nice little Aegis, a nice little victory prize here. He's also got a Heaven's Halberd, or excuse me, a Sanj, which will be built into, not a Heaven's Halberd rather, but an SNY Sanj and Yasha, more likely than not. Should be out in about 100 or so gold. He'll have that, and he'll just be able to run at people very, very fast. I mean, the Drow Ranger, she's speedy, but I don't know if she'll be speedy enough against Zhang Jie, who's got 386 base move speed right now, and the SNY will provide a bit more.
And as you can see, Tree is going to pick up a little bit of extra utility for his team. Going for the 4 staff, I don't mind that, and follow it up with a nice smoke. And we will go ahead and step into a pause and I mean, I do have to say, there hasn't been that many pauses tonight. A little bit of delays getting into the games, but I was kind of expecting a bit more. But we do take one for the meantime, and a bit of a breather. But, let me see. For me personally, I haven't gotten to look at the goal graph, and we're back to square one once again, Mott.
Yeah, and I thought Execration were doing well. They just need to take better fights. Arrow got the jump on them in that last bit. You talked about how they threw out the Viper Strike. The Doom came through. That Viper just kind of became useless at that point. They could use the Doom on another hero, but they blow up the Invoker so fast that it's not necessary there. You could Doom the Drow Ranger, but she's so fast as well that she's just going to be able to get out most of the time. No point in throwing on the Wraith King like we talked about. So maybe Viper is the choice here, which I kind of question a little bit in the draft, but that's not even the issue. The issue is now that Arrow's starting to get farmed, and they're starting to get their core items up. In fact, this is going to be their time. 30 minutes is really when they start hitting their stride. The SNY is going to come out for Zhang-Ji. He's got his mech already as well. You've got DDZ, who's got a Blink Dagger BKB, which, by the way, how often do we see a Blink Dagger on a DK?
Not very often.
And
most DKs like to go for Shadow Blade or something like
exactly.
that.
But it's been impressive, I think, to watch because he knows what he's providing in these fights. He's not providing right-click damage. He's providing a Dragon Tail stun and Breathe Fire, essentially. And if he can get those off, his team will get kills around him. So Lothar's kind of functions in the same way, but it's still, I think, a really nice choice here. And I want to step back. I thought it was NSNY, but no, they're going to go for a Halberd instead here on this Razor.
I don't mind the Halberd pickup. I mean, it's clear that the only true problem might be this Ninja Boogie Drow. And if you're able to nip it, then she won't be able to get out all that sweet DPS. And with the Blink Daggers, they make the appropriate jump in, and next thing you know, you got Execration kind of freaking out, trying to address the Dragonite and the Doom coming in, and next thing you know, you're forgetting about this Razor, who can just creep his way into the fight, heal up his friends, and he's got a stack link that's probably been going for who knows how long, and inheriting all that extra damage, and just looking to clean things up.
Right now, honestly, this is really when they need to start going. They have this Aegis. They've got to do something with it. So whether they try to go for a tower, whether they try to smoke up and get a fight, it's up to them. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They need to look for a fight here. They're going to find a double damage rune. If they follow that line, no, they're going to go straight mid now. Blink forward. Uwe getting caught out. The Dragon Tail, the right click, but he's tanky. He's going to mech up. They throw the Halberd on the static link, getting slowed down. Wraith Fire Blast. Nice BKB from DDZ to disjoint that. 4-step up into the high ground. The TP away. Now, the Overgrowth, can he get it? No! Johnny, you wasted it, man. Come on. I was hoping you wouldn't, but you did. And they get nothing out of that. They pop BKBs. They pop the Overgrowth. They pop everything, really, except the Doom.
Maybe if he had confidence that he would have just been there and he went up and immediately pressed that R button, it might have happened, but he hesitated for that half a second. And that was just enough time for Viper Rider to get away. So a little unfortunate for them, but I think they're still happy. They, forced Execration to quickly retreat out and step back and just kind of assert their dominance.
Yeah, I mean, that was very close to the Viper is very actually tanky, and I agree with you. If he threw up that Overgrowth immediately, he's got it. But Drow Ranger going to town. Nice grave. The Gust, that's not going to cancel that TP. That arrow will travel, I think. I want to see if it hits. I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, it's going to hit. Right, well, no.
Did it get destroyed? Yeah, I don't know. It's not there anyway, so I'm sure it's gone now. But that's too bad. I wasn't following it, but Drow very close to getting that kill. Nice Shallow Grave from the Dazzle. One hero that you can't kill unless you have that disable, which she does not. Gust, she tried to stop him from being able to TP, but Gust does not work that way. Knockback applied does not mean TP canceled.
You can even force staff someone, it wouldn't even matter.
Yes.
So it takes a lot more than that to just try to stop him.
Yeah, absolutely. So he'll get out scot-free, and
Hey, do you guys mind shutting the window?
okay.
So it is worthy to know. Okay.
Alright, so 31 minutes into the game here. Execration and Arrow, 4-13 the score right now. And they still have that Aegis, which is interesting. I mean, they also have almost level 3 Dragon Knight Ultimate coming out, which is huge. Elder Dragon form with that blue dragon splash damage is pretty nice to have. So I think for DDZ, maybe get that level 3 Ultimate and go from there. And they'll pick it up, and also the Elder Dragon form is now up. That's why they backed off too. They were trying to go for that tier 2 tower, and you're just like, nah, that's not going to work out. So for the Invoker, the Lincoln Sphere is now up, and he'll be ready to go with that, which is actually a smart pickup, but at the same time, it's you don't see it too often in Invoker, which I actually like this pickup a lot for Aubin.
Yeah, it's clearly just for the Doom. I mean, he wants to be able to make sure he gets everything off and doesn't have anything stop him. And now continuing to push on 4. Arrow looking to make a goal on this tier 2 tower. There goes the Tornado EMP to just kind of prevent them in the meantime, but doesn't really land on anyone. So they'll look to commit here. Dragon Form already in use here, and they should be able to get the tier 2 with ease. And we'll see if Execration look to step back, and in case they do continue to push on forward, they'll look to just defend the high hill, but that looks to not be the case. They do retreat all the way back, where it looks like action on the bottom lane continues on. They can't quite catch on Ninja Boogie, and he will be able to escape out.
Yeah, he had the BKB. He had to pop it and just TP home. So that's the thing. A lot of BKBs have been popped here that really didn't need to be used. So you look at the DK. He's actually at 6-second duration at 33 minutes in. That's interesting. That's a bit too much, I feel like. He uses it too often, and I think it's been kind of an issue. Maybe thought there were going to be fights that weren't really there. So 1 minute on this Aegis now. They take the tier 2 tower minute. That's great and all, but now where do you go from here? The thing is, they have a lot of farm coming out for Arrow. They really don't need to be afraid as much anymore. The Doom has finished his Shiva's Guard. There's some other items coming out as well. They have 2,000 gold lead, which is not much, but it seems like they have all of the momentum and pretty much everything going in their favor.
I'm a little surprised by that gold graph as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like Arrow has a little more going for him, but Execration is still hanging in there. It's definitely a much better showing than we got to see in the last go around when they were going against Scythe. I mean, you can also kind of maybe say that maybe Scythe was just that much better, or what have you. But for now, Arrow just kind of waiting for the right time before they can kind of commit to something and make something happen. And hopefully it's not too late. And well, Drow kind of being the lone ranger, if you will, for her team, trying to be the one true core DPS, because it doesn't look like Wraith King in the near future is going to be gaining anything else to try to assist her in that core.
Yeah, the Wraith King right now is very far behind. I feel like it just has that. He's got the drum, and he's got nothing else coming out right now. He's got like 200 gold in the bank. I mean, he's just been buying wards essentially. They've, I think, prioritized the Life Rack. He's got a Force Staff and a Ghost Scepter as well, which is fine. That doesn't give you the right click damage, so really it's just going to be the Drow Ranger and even the Invoker and Viper trying to do work here. The Aghanim Scepter and the mech, but all of that progress Viper had at the early stage of the game is lost. Execration, they did a really great job of split pushing and taking towers early on, but they have yet to get that last tier 2 tower, which has been kind of their focus for a while. Ninja Boogie's doing a great job split pushing with his Mantis style, but he is the only one. Smoke again from Arrow, and it seems like every time they're trying to find somebody, they're going to go for a Smoke of Deceit gank here. They're going to catch out the Invoker. No, there's no gem up on them, so they really don't have the vision. They have no way of really catching him out of position and getting a kill there. So unfortunate that Smoke's going to be revealed here from Lance, but the gank is snuffed out.
And meanwhile, it looks like Doom will make his full rotation with the rest of his team to the bottom lane right here, where it looks like the last remaining outer tower for Arrow is going to be standing. So it looks like that will be next on the objective list here as they look to continue to push on forward while the... Oh, sorry, I called that completely backwards. It looks like Arrow actually looking to make a push on the bottom lane. There's still a tier 2 here as well if they want to try to defend it out, but Execration in the meantime, they're all the way up on the opposite side of the map, nowhere near this.
Yeah, Uwe, he's got a TP, and I'm assuming the Drow Ranger does. No, she actually doesn't have one, but she can buy one from the side shop if she needs to. That tier 2 tower, going to be taking some damage maybe in just a bit here as well. They're going to jump forward. The right click's coming out from Jiangxi and Johnny as well. And they'll try to take this down as quickly as possible. The mech is up, point booster on top of that. And I don't know if you defend this if you're Oboing and the rest of Execration here. They actually have to defend against Fox. Blink forward, Doom is up. Fox, you've overstayed your welcome, my friend. You are actually going to die. Level death from Lance. That's the kill. Maybe they turn on bottom now. They throw up the Tornado. The EMP is going to fly. It's a bit late. The Orchid. Nice force away from Mosin. Well, actually, that was from Johnny, who just threw it out so his teammates could revive. They cannot get that tier 2 tower. It's very low. More aggression coming out from Execration here. They're not going to get this kill, however. They'll back off. Everyone's TPing top, essentially. Arrow are going to try to push this out and go from there.
Yep, and right back to square one we go. A nice quick pick off here, and the Lesh, who's been given the opportunity to build all the extra farm as a support, and it's not really making much happen of it right now. I can't help but feel like if it was the Wraith King and he got in there, and even if it was just a Blade Mail, it'd be something very nice to have. Now, you jump in there and you risk that the Razor's able to kind of static link on him very, very quickly and build up all that extra damage. But as long as he lingers around and pops maybe the Blade Mail after coming back, he can put out lots of extra damage. But not going to be the case this go around. And for now, Arrow going to make their rotation through the mid lane and kind of scouting things out. We got a bit more time before the Rosh will be popping right back
20
up.
20 seconds or something, it
so,
looks like.
Relatively quick, so if they want to linger and just kind of put up a couple of wards, as you can see, looking to make a bit of a counter ward. There's nothing up right now for Execration, so they will not know that they're going to make a go for it. But the rest of the Execration squad instead pushing up this bottom lane and going for that tier 2.
They need a gem for Arrow right now. Too often this Invoker's been being aggressive with his Ghost Walk and he's not paying for it. Lance going to get Viper Strike down in that bottom lane. Viper Struck even. Elder Dragon Form coming out. Nice blink. Ube getting caught out. The Static Link going as well. Overgrowth coming in on Fox and Ninja Boogie. A lot of damage. Ube about to fall. Arrow jumping in the stomp. Ninja Boogie getting focused. Nice Shallow Grave keeping that Treant alive. There's the Reincarnation. 2 dead. Might be a third. Doom's up on Ninja Boogie. Just came off cooldown. BG01 getting focused. Nice tornado. Might save his life. Can they get this kill? They will. The double kill coming out from the Razor, who has so much damage. 273. My goodness. And they clean everything up by getting that Draw Ranger as well. Lance going to work. That is the turning point, I feel like, for this game. And Arrow, they're running train essentially on Execration.
Yeah, that might be a foreshadow of things to come for the rest of this game. While they were looking up at the forefront, the Doom was blinking ahead and quickly caught out the Drow and just kind of chased her down, and there was just nowhere that Ninja Boogie can go. And now on the back end of that fight, they're going to continue to push on this bottom lane and just easily acquire this tier 2. Might even consider continuing to push forward and go for the base, but if they also decide they can move all the way back because Roshan is back.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is too also, I don't think they will go for the base because they have DDZ with no... I mean, I've said it so often, but like Elder Dragon Form is like critical to their gameplay right now. And
yeah.
Even though the Drow's dead for like 22 seconds, and she might have had buyback, she does, but like, even though she was dead for like 20 some odd seconds, they would rather just make sure they take the smart play, and that's Roshan. So, Roche will probably fall here, and it's Cheese 2 as well, which is huge. DDZ will probably pick that up, or Lance maybe. They don't really have a lot of room. Now Zhangxi picks up the Aghanim Scepter, which is actually like really big for them, because that provides them with so much push and potential coming out, and just...
Yeah.
Overall, just annoying damage to deal with in a team fight. Like, among all of the other damage that you have to deal with from Arrow already, like, that's just going to be one more thing.
No, you know, if their game plan had always been that they wanted to go with this more heavy kind of push style with the Dragon Form, and now with his Ags complete on the Razor, you know, why would you think that maybe the Doom going for the Ags? It's been nice.
Yes.
I don't know if I've seen too many opportunities where the Ags was the reason why it helped so much, and maybe instead could have considered going for maybe a Necro book. Could have add a little bit more to extra pushing power.
I wouldn't mind Necro. I think Necro would be okay in this situation. I think that it would provide them a bit more high ground pressure. I don't know.
Plus, you got the detection you were talking about.
Actually, I do really like Necro book on this hero. I think it's pretty solid. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I mean, it's working for him now, so we can't hate on it too much.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, we definitely saw that fight. I mean, he was able to chase down the draw with the benefit of the Ags, but aside from that, I just hadn't seen a whole lot happening with it. But, you know, who am I to hate? I mean, they're definitely getting it done right now. If you look at the scoreboard, it clearly shows 4-18. It felt a little closer than that, but as you said before, that last team fight kind of showed what might be what's to come. I mean, I'm sure anytime Dragon Knight has this Dragon Form ready to go, they'll farm up, they'll separate and farm, come back together, and just kind of try to bulldoze down one of these lanes. There is one more Tier 2 standing on the side of Execration. It is at the top lane if they decide to make a move up there.
I feel like this game was close because Execration are so solid, maybe their early game positioning and like aggression. And we saw it in that last game too. They were okay. It wasn't bad. They had a lot going for them. And they got a lot of towers in this early game. They got a lot of damage. They got a lot of kills. Well, no, not a lot of kills, but a couple kills. In fact, most of the kills, in fact, all of their kills came from the early game with 4 of them.
Look at that.
But,
a refresher. Picked up on the Doom.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
Doom City time, I guess.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 heroes that are doomed and getting chased down, and it's going to be the most frightening thing in the world for Trish because they won't be able to deal with it. So that's what they were waiting for, is like this core set of items. And now there's pretty much nothing stopping Arrow from jumping into the high ground. There's like not nearly enough damage from either the Invoker. You're going to see Uwe getting jumped on. I don't know why you're this far out when you have so little map control, but Uwe may be in trouble. Yeah, oh yeah, he's done with the level death from Lance getting the kill. He could just refresh now and go to town, or just wait for the cooldown at this point. So, Uwe, does he have buyback? Let's find out. The only one that does is the DK. So now is your time. Arrow, go for high ground. You still have the Aegis, I believe. That is on the Razor. You have a cheese on somebody. I don't know who. DDZ, in fact, well, Eye of the Storm's going to get popped, and here we go. Drow's going to try to split push the Mantis Cell Illusions. That's not going to matter. EMP, they use the Wraithfire Blast. That doesn't hit. And they're going to keep going to this high ground.
And there they go with the help of that ultimate, man. Just putting in the serious work, and still DK kind of making his rotation to the top. Will not be able to help out with that Dragon Form, and well, I guess they can't quite get it done just yet. The tower's actually pretty low, but they can't just complete the objective, and Viper will shortly be back, so this might be a bit odd for them to kind of commit. It will end up being a 4 versus 5 if they want to linger around, and there they go. I think they do make the right call, and they will pull all the way back.
Yeah, the thing is, they still have the stage. It's up for 3 more minutes, so there's no rush for them yet. Push out the top lane, make sure that it's at least getting going in the right direction, and then keep going mid, maybe even rotate bottom if you feel comfortable. Just do something where you're not going to potentially throw the game by having 4 heroes and pushing it with 4 of them and the other one's top. Just make sure all the lanes are pushed in. Don't get, rat Dota and have a set of racks traded for no reason at all. Just play smart, methodical Dota. You realize when you have the advantage, and this might be right now. Uwe got caught out using, of course, the unstable current, but it wasn't enough for them to go on. So BGO1 getting focused. Look at the lightning storm, the Eye of the Storm doing so much damage. BGO1, that might be his reincarnation. No, he sticks up with the tier 3 tower, getting low. EMP doesn't matter, the tower's already dead. BKB, Uwe, the refresher. There's gonna be the doom. Uwe's done. Nice split earth, but is it gonna be enough here? Reincarnation, BGO1 gets back up overgrowth on Abeng, as well as Fox. He will go Scepter, but what's that gonna do? Lightning storm coming through. Fox is gonna fall as well as BGO1. John Jing is running amok in the Radiant base. They are looking for more. Lance, he doesn't even care about the objectives. These racks are not getting focused. This is a well dive if I've ever seen one. This is the most manly dive on the face of the planet, but they will head back to the racks. Well, not before they dive, I guess, the well and get a kill on that Draw Ranger. They will finally call GG for Execration, but, I mean, still a pretty close game at the end there.
A better showing, but still Arrow able to come out on top. That team fight orientation they had was just plenty and enough for them to get it together. Well, we once again saw earlier in the game, Execration were still a little wishy-washy about a few of their commitments on where the support should go. Had they committed maybe to the top lane earlier, things could have turned out a bit differently. But Arrow had some nice little, if I dare say, cheeky kind of a stuff. I mean, we saw the refresher Doom with the Agnums, and even the tree picking up that spicy little veil of Discord kind of make things even more harder with that Doom. So it was a nice, nice things. They weren't as dominant as maybe Scythe, but Arrow also showing that, why a lot of people think they're the top 2 for this qualifier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Arrow played just solid game, and the early game aggression from Execration was really good. I like how they like to try to get towers early on and try to get this early advantage, but I think it kind of forces them into this position where if they don't get a lot early on, they're going to lack on levels, they're going to lack on a bit of farm. They did get Ninja Boogie some decent gold and experience, but that was about it. And really, that Draw Ranger just doesn't do much. You can see, you could try to right-click down, but she's so squishy. You get focused with the Doom, or you can focus really like a Dragon Tail, even at the tail end of a BKB. So I guess that game, we expected it to go Arrow's way, but still, 23-4, you don't expect it to go like that. Execration, they're already down 0-2. Arrow, a good start for them, 2-0, and that is going to be it for at least me here on the stream, at least for a while. I'll be back in a little bit to do FD versus Mineski, but you got next with Arrow versus MVP. You and What Is Hip will be, of course, joining you. That'll be right here, guys. That'll be in about, let's see, it starts at 23:40, which is, I guess, like right now. So we'll take a quick break, guys, and we'll get right into the next one for you in just a second. Before we do head out of here, again, I'm Mont. Follow me at twitter.com/Mont32. He's Kala Guy. Check out twitter.com/Kala Guy. The nameplates are right there. We'll see y'all in a bit.